Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is a very special video. I know I always say that every video is exciting, but this is a really special video because I realized I have not done a sort of holistic handbag collection video in about 3 years, and there are quite a few new bags over there. So I actually wrote up every bag that I have, everything I wanted to say about it in a little note. So if you ever see me glancing down there, that's what I'm doing. But then I also kind of spread them out all over my little windowsill just to be able to sort of see them and make sure that I wasn't missing anything. Don't worry, I don't normally let my handbags like bake in the sun like that. They're always in the closet, but sometimes things get tucked away in little nooks and crannies. So it was really nice to be able to see the holistic collection. And I mean, I'm biased, it's my collection obviously, but I think this is a really great collection. You can really tell the bags and the designers that I've kind of fallen in love with over the years, and you'll see a lot of repeats in the sense that when I see something I like in terms of like a brand or a style, I will definitely end up buying it in multiple colors just because if I know something works for me, why not? So yes, another disclaimer before I jump into this video is I have a large number of evening bags from Jimmy Choo, and to be honest, if I included them in this video, I think it would just be way too extensive. So everything here is more of like a everyday kind of bag. And so if you want to see the Jimmy Choo stuff, feel free to go over to my entire Jimmy Choo collection. I have a whole video about that. And there's some really beautiful, again, evening bags that are a part of that, but I just feel like they didn't really fit in with this theme. So if you're wondering where those bags are, that's where they are. So let's jump right in so this doesn't go on forever and ever and ever. But I want to start with the vintage Celine. So I personally think there's nothing cooler than a vintage Celine piece, especially from the era of Phoebe Philo. And I have two very famous bags from that time. One of them I'm sure that you've heard of, one of them you may not have heard of. So I'm very excited to kind of go deep into that. But yeah, I'm just such a Phoebe Philo fan. Her price point now with her own brand is like so just very pie in the sky. It's very out there, but I do think buying vintage Celine is a great way to kind of like get your Phoebe Philo fix without that crazy price. So yeah, if you are a fan of Phoebe Philo, that's like a hot tip. So I've got two bags from Celine that I bought, both of these vintage, one from the Real, one I honestly couldn't even tell you. I think maybe from Poshmark like 8 years ago. This was one of the very first designer bags that I actually ever bought, I want to say. I don't think it was my very first. You know what? It actually might have been my very first bag. It either was this bag or the Chloe Drew bag. I don't know if you guys remember that. I did end up selling that at one point, but I do kind of love that bag. Part of me wants to like buy it back again, but yes. And this is stuffed with stuff, but you can see how much I've worn this over time. In fact, I like hate it a little bit because I did wear it out so much. I like stretched out the leather so much in the back. I used this as a work bag for multiple years, and putting like a really heavy MacBook Pro in there and stuff was just really not good for the bag. And this bag is actually quite heavy just as it is. It's made from a really heavy leather. There's lots of leather. I would imagine this is what like a Birkin 35 or a 40 would feel like, which has really deterred me from actually buying a bag like that because I just think it would be so heavy and I don't want to stretch it out by putting a lot of heavy stuff in it. So yeah, that's why I tend to really stick to the smaller bags. And then in terms of going to work, I just use a tote bag. To be perfectly honest, it might not be very sophisticated, but I know that I'm not going to mess it up with my extremely heavy 16-inch MacBook computer. So that's my pro tip there. But yes, this is let me get all the right stats on this. This is a Celine luggage tote. So the luggage tote came out in 2010, like I mentioned, under Phoebe Philo for Celine, and this was such an incredibly popular tote bag. I remember even before I knew anything about designer bags, I knew all the celebrities were wearing this bag. I was such a fan of this bag, especially I would say by 2012, this was like the most popular bag on the planet. I love the shape. I love that it's almost got like a little face, like it's smiling at you. And even though this was such an it bag, I still think there's something so iconic about it. And I would still wear this out today, honestly. I don't as much because again, it's super heavy, but, and I think big bags are a little overwhelming to my frame personally, but yeah, I just love this bag so much. And I still think it's such a classic, to be honest. So yeah, you can definitely pick it up still on the secondary market for a really great price. I don't know if Celine still makes this bag. If they do, I will leave it linked below if you are wanting to buy it new, but I do think there's something pretty cool about it being vintage. Another nice thing about this is one of the few bags that I have that's actually black with silver. So it's got the silver Celine. Oh, this was also before they got rid of the little, I'm blanking on what it's called, but the little tick above the E that's on Celine. So when Eddie Slimane took over Celine, he actually removed it. That was like one of the first things that he did to kind of update the logo and make it a little more clean, which is more of his aesthetic. And so yeah, it's kind of cool to have an old bag that still has the little Celine little check on it, but it does have silver hardware, as you can see. So it is nice to have a bag that is black and silver, especially since I don't really have a lot of those. So yes, that is that. Now, this next bag had a really short life, to be honest, and I'm not sure why, because when you go back, like when I was doing research on this bag, it has like a ton of celebrities wore this bag. It seems like a very popular bag. So this is called the Edge bag, so the Celine Edge bag, and this is a size small. So it comes in a, I'm pretty sure this is a small and not a medium, but I think it comes in a small, medium, and then potentially a large. And so, yeah, I just think the architecture of this bag is really beautiful. I love that it's a different color on the front than it is on the sides. And I love that the back has this little pocket, but I also love that it's just got the one shoulder strap that's really sturdy. And I think this is, again, such a great classic, but like modern looking bag. And it's got very minimal hardware on it. As you can see here, I still have the stuffing in it. And it's just got a little pocket inside and then a little zipper inside. It's made so beautifully. I mean, that's the, well, there's many things that are great about Celine bags, but the really beautiful thing about a big Celine bag like this is that when you purchase it secondhand, it's so well crafted. Like, it's so gorgeous. Really well made. I do have a bit of a scratch here that I did not do. I purchased it like that, and then you can see a little bit of wear and tear here, but it doesn't really bother me. And again, they made this bag in so many colors. They made it in, you know, of course, your blacks, your browns, blues, whites, pony hair, like all kinds of crazy combinations, which is so wild to me because apparently this bag actually was really only around for a year because it came out in fall winter 2014 and then they discontinued it just a year later in 2015. So I really don't know what's going on there. The other thing that I love about this bag is that Phoebe Philo has made a very similar tote bag as a part of her collection in this day and age. And that bag is like $10,000. It's like $8,000 to $10,000. It's basically the price of an Hermes bag, which is kind of wild to me because it's, her style is so minimal that like even the Row isn't charging $10,000 for the Margot bag. So I don't know, whatever. She can charge whatever she wants. People are clearly buying it, but I think this is a really great alternative if that's not for you. And again, it's just like very much her vibes because of course she oversaw the design of it and whatnot. So yeah, I just think it's really cool. I love how the zipper kind of like tucks around and comes in and then you can open it up. It's just like a really nice shoulder bag. In fact, I'll try to try on all of these bags just with what I'm wearing so you can kind of see them against the shape of my body and whatnot and just like what they look like on. But I just find this bag to be so comfortable, even though it's like a little bit larger. I think it sits under the arm really comfortably and really well. And the other thing that made me want to pull the trigger on this bag is this like taupe color of the front. So again, you can get it in a million different combinations, but I just love this taupe color. It goes really well with my Birkenstocks, with my sweaters. You guys know I've just been on this like taupe kick for the last 6 months or so. And so I thought this bag was a really nice way to kind of introduce a little bit of that fun color combo into my wardrobe, and instead of just being this like plain black bag. So I'm not gonna lie, I haven't worn this a lot since I bought it. I just have, again, so many other bags, and I tend to grab for my smaller bags more frequently. But from a collector's perspective, I'm super happy with this bag. And the price point of this bag, you can get this on the secondhand market. I think I ended up getting this for around $300. So if you were looking for a really great vintage designer bag, this is such an incredible option because it's so underrated. Like, I don't think a lot of people really know about it because it was only around for a year. So yeah, just type in Celine Edge bag on all the secondhand stores and you can get them anywhere from 300 to 600, even though I'd probably try to pay on the lower end of that just because there are quite a few that are available. But yeah, I just think this is a really great little gem from that collection. In fact, you could even wear it like a little clutch, kind of, where it's just like goes under your shoulder and you don't even like show the little shoulder strap piece. But yeah, I just think it's super cute and really, really beautifully constructed. Okay, now let's talk about my vintage Hermes bags. So I kind of hinted ahead of time, I do have multiple bags in the same color when I really like something. And so this one was my very first Hermes bag that I ever purchased. This is the Kelly 28 Retourne. So it doesn't have the sharp sides like the Cellier. It's got the little folded inside out sides. And it is in box leather, and it is from the year 1990, which is super special. It's almost as old as I am, which is one of the coolest things about Hermes bags is they just have such incredible history and heritage, and the sun is shining right on me, so it actually makes it look really shiny, but that is just the nature of box leather. Again, I purchased it secondhand. There is a pretty big scratch on the back, but I just think it's worn really beautifully over time. And for me personally, I love the look of the Kelly. I think it's really simple, really classic. It just kind of fits in more in my wardrobe personally than say the Birkin. And I love the size of the 28. So it fits so much, but it's not like too big. The other thing I love about the Kelly that the Birkin doesn't have is that it has a shoulder strap, which I do have. It's tucked in here. I just tuck it away while I have that. So these have these really rare kind of like lobster clasps, which was still happening in the late 80s and the very, very, very early 90s, like this one, 1990. And so that's kind of a fun one, even though I will say I understand why they started introducing what they call now the Kelly 2, which has 2 rings at the top, because when you attach the strap, it really does wear out the leather here, which I've noticed pretty significantly on my bag. And so that's why I kind of stopped wearing the strap on this one, because I will have to get it repaired at some point. But yeah, I definitely understand why they sort of evolved the brand to do that in that way. And yeah, I just think it's such a gorgeous, classic, timeless piece and just such incredible history here. So yeah, this is my black Kelly. Hopefully, I just turned on the air conditioning. I'm getting very warm talking about these bags. But now this is the second Hermès Kelly that I've purchased. And so this one is also vintage. It's from the year 1993. And this is Ardennes leather, which I hope I'm saying that correctly. But they actually discontinued this leather. It was one of the most durable leathers of the time, so that's one nice thing about it. It is like an embossed leather, kind of like the Epsom, so that's why you can see a little bit of that shine. And it was replaced by the, I'm totally going to butcher this, the Vachi Leger leather in around 2007. So this leather is no longer made, but you can definitely find a lot of bags made with this leather on the secondhand market, and I have really loved it because it is very durable. There is like minimal scratching, again, because this bag was from 1993, so 31 years old, which is absolutely wild that it still looks so beautiful. And this is in the color gold. So yeah, really beautiful. I don't really know what else to say. It's, to be honest, it's unclear actually which one I wear more. I wanted a black one and a gold one for sort of just that versatility and to be able to wear one, you know, with navies and things, even though I think this also looks really good with black. And then in this one, I got an insert because the Ardennes leather is not as sturdy as the box leather, of course. The box leather is some of the sturdiest that you can get, but so it can be a little slouchy. Like you can kind of see it starting to slouch here a little bit, particularly just because the bag is quite old, obviously. So I got this really beautiful insert from this company that I will leave linked below. They do the best Hermes bag inserts. She used to work at Hermes for like 20 years or something crazy like that. So she really knows her stuff, and it's just really beautifully made in this gorgeous suede, and you can get it to actually match so that when you open the bag, it's just like all really uniform. And then I have the little strap in there as well. So did just want to call that out if you're looking for a good insert for your Hermes handbags. She's does a great one. So yeah, these are super special pieces that I want to pass down to my children one day again, which is the beautiful part of Hermes bags. I will say, not to like bring the mood down, but it feels like, especially traveling in Europe and stuff recently, that there's just been a lot more crime and robberies and whatnot. So I have found myself wearing these bags out less and less, just for that reason. Especially when I travel, I just don't really want to have to like worry as much. So I am going to share the bags in a few that I've really been wearing a lot more, but I still just find these bags to be so incredibly special, and they're never going to go out of style. They're just really beautiful pieces, especially if you're a lover of fashion. So yeah, those are the vintage Hermes. Now I'm going to move into some vintage Dior and a little vintage Gucci. Okay, so if you couldn't tell, I really do love purchasing things vintage when I can, because I just think there's so much history there, and you can almost just like feel the soul of, yeah, the item in a weird way. I don't know. Let me know if you feel the same way. Ooh, this is like a little bit dirty to like dust my bags a little more regularly. It's awful, but yes. So this is a vintage Lady Dior bag in size medium. And if you, let me grab the Hermes actually so I can show you. I always like to use other bags as kind of a reference point for sizing. So as I mentioned, this is the 28, which means that it's 28 centimeters across. And the Lady Dior in size medium is basically the same size as the Hermes 28. So that's one thing that I really, really love about it. And similarly to the Lady, or not similar to the Lady Dior, similar to the Hermès Kelly, this one also has a top handle and a crossbody strap. So that is another theme that you will see amongst my bag collection, is that my most used bags always have a top handle and a crossbody strap. So not that you're asking for advice, but since you're looking at a handbag collection video, maybe you're just building out your collection and you're trying to figure out, you know, what investments you want to make. I highly recommend trying a bunch of different kinds of bags, maybe at a lower price point, like from like a Madewell, where maybe it has nice leather, but it's more of just a simple bag. But trying bags that are larger, smaller, have a crossbody, have a top handle, have just like different elements to them, and really take notice which ones you're grabbing for regularly and why. And I think that will really help you build out a collection that you love, because there's so many kinds of bags out there from all kinds of designers that before you spend a ton of money on something, I just think it's good to know like what it is that you like for your lifestyle and how you like to dress, and just like really catering towards that. So anyway, that is something that I've noticed, is that I really, really, really love the versatility of having a top handle and having the crossbody strap when I need it. So I wish I could tell you the year that this Lady Dior bag is from. However, I know that it's older because it does not have feet. Well, there are a couple signs actually. So the older models do not have feet. And another thing is the opening is just a zipper. See the beautiful Lady Dior zipper. Zip it shut. Let's see here. So the zipper became a flap sometime around when Maria Grazia joined the house, which was in 2016. So that doesn't really tell us much. It just tells us that this bag was before 2016, which not surprising because it definitely looks and feels super vintage. My guess is this is sometime from around the 90s, because if you look the the bag was really popular with Princess Diana. She wore this one quite a bit, and her bag did not have feet either. So that's my guess, is this was sometime around the 90s. Another interesting thing about this bag and about Dior in general is you'll notice the beautiful Dior pattern that is very synonymous with the house. So I didn't actually know this, which is kind of bad, but apparently this pattern was inspired by the Napoleon III rattan chairs that guests would sit in during Dior's very first couture show. So I hope I'm saying rattan correctly, but the chairs that were at the very first couture shows for Dior is basically this pattern, which I think is so cool to know where that came from. And that's also yeah, I just love the history that kind of comes with a lot of these designer brands. So yes, love, love, love the Dior. I will say, obviously, this is a very like hardware heavy bag, and this is a very gold color. And so I haven't been reaching as much for this recently, but I love wearing this bag in more traditional settings, like when I'm in London or whatnot. So I do really I do reach for this bag time to time, but it is not quite as simple as some of my other bags, but still like a lovely, lovely piece in my collection, I will say. So keeping with the Princess Diana theme, this was another bag that was very popular with her. In fact, I'm not even gonna lie. When I did my research about how much she loved the Lady Dior bag, I was like, you know what? We have similar taste. Let me see what other bags that she was really drawn to. And this particular Gucci bag always came up. However, she's often photographed wearing this in a much larger size. So this is the vintage mini Gucci Diana bag. So they did end up naming the bag after her because it was so popular. And again, this is the size mini. This is the smallest size. It also comes in a small and a medium. I think it's usually the medium that she's photographed using, but I got this off of the RealReal. It's definitely not in the best condition, but I just loved the suede brown color. In fact, I'm sure the RealReal will charge a lot more for this now just because suede is so popular. And in fact, right after I purchased this, Gucci ended up, or very close to that time, Gucci ended up reissuing this bag. However, I will say they reissued it in 2021. I do not like the reissue. I wish they would have stayed more true to the original simple, sleek, timeless design. They introduced this like neon band on the bamboo handles. I just think the whole thing was a bit of a, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but this bag originally came out in 1991. I'm not sure the time that this particular bag is from, but it's really beautifully made. And again, it's got this little flap and then the inside. And it did originally also come with a crossbody strap, although I did not buy mine with it, but there is an extra loop to support that. So maybe one day I'll be able to pick one up secondhand to just add to it. But I love the size. This is, to me, is a really great summer bag. And at the time I didn't own a brown bag. So that was before I bought my Hermes in gold. So this was a really nice little staple for me. But to be honest, even though I don't wear this as much as other bags in my collection, I just love the history of it. And I love the story behind it. And yeah, I just think it's a great, kind of like the Celine edge bag. It's just kind of a fun collector's piece for me as a fashion enthusiast. So did want to call this out, that this was great. And this is another really great bag if you're, again, trying to dabble your toes in designer bags, but you really can't or don't want to kind of dive into that intense price point out of the gate. This is a really nice one. And it's kind of that old school Gucci style that I really miss that they would bring back. So now we're getting out of the vintage and we're getting more into the contemporary bags. So this is a bag by Bottega Veneta. This is the point bag in a size small. So the point bag, I believe, came out in 2021 when Daniel Lee was still at Bottega. And it's 100% calf skin. And they also made it in a larger size as well. A pretty significantly larger size. And I really tried seeing if they still made this bag, and unfortunately don't think they do, which is kind of sad because I actually really, well, I'll get into why I don't love this bag. I do love the aesthetic of this bag for practicality purposes. It's a little bit too small for me, just because if you can see like the Bottega very classic V shape takes, or diamond shape takes up so much space. There's really only this much space in the bag. So it actually, I don't even think it fits my iPhone. I think I can really just put like, you know what, it might. You know what, it does. If you like really, if that's the only thing that's in there. But I definitely remember times where I've tried to fit like my phone, my keys, my wallet, and it wouldn't quite shut all the way. The other thing that I don't like about this bag practically is that it really like, hear that? It's like a very aggressive magnet in terms of getting it shut. Like no one's stealing anything out of this bag for sure. So, but the things that I love about this bag are the fact that there's really no hardware. There's like very minimal kind of gold buttons, which is nice because the strap is adjustable, which is great. So, you know, depending on your height or your torso length or whatever, or just whatever kind of aesthetic you're into, you can adjust it. That's really nice. I also love that you can actually tuck this into the bag and turn it into like a clutch. It's such a great bag for traveling because I do think it's so incredibly versatile. Like I think it makes the cutest little clutch. So you could wear it out during the day, you know, when you're sightseeing and you want something super secure, crossbody bag, and then at nighttime you can just turn it into a precious little clutch. I also love that like there's like the little nod to Bottega in the branding, like this shape obviously, but it's like more of if you know, you know. It's like very understated. And I really, really love bags and brands that are doing things like this. I think Loewe also does a really great job of this with a lot of their bags. So yeah, I also absolutely love the color of this bag, this like forest green. It's very similar to burgundy in that it was very popular color, and I just think it's such a great like neutral, but it still looks great against blacks or greens or anything like that, especially if I'm wearing an all black outfit. It's such a great just like pop of color. So kind of bummed they're not making this bag anymore because I think it's really, really special. It was also a nice price point, relatively speaking, for a designer bag. It was $2,500 I think back in the day, so pretty good. I feel like Bottega has definitely raised their prices over the last few years, and that you can't get a lot of their bags for $2,500 anymore. I'm also so happy. I remember that same time when Daniel Lee, like all the things were blowing up, the cassette bag was like the it bag, and there's like COS is still coming out with like similar things to the cassette bag, which is kind of crazy to me that it's that iconic of a design where people are still reproducing it, you know, 4 or 5 years later. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't buy it though, because I do think I would have regretted. It was just such like the bag of the time. This one wasn't as popular, and I love that because it wasn't so overplayed like on social media and stuff. Granted, like you should just wear whatever you want, but for me, I just liked like not seeing this bag everywhere all the time. It was just like a little bit different. So yeah, this is the Bottega. I think if I was ever going to get another bag from Bottega from that time, and I'm kind of skipping ahead, I was going to say at the end of this video, but I'll just sprinkle it in if like future bags that I'm thinking about. But while I honestly think I have the perfect collection and I don't need to add anything to this collection at all, I really feel like I'm covered in all bases now in terms of like night, day, like casual, not casual, like I've got it all. But I do think I also love the pouch that Daniel Lee came out with, the really, really simple kind of clutch that's like very pillowy. I just love that bag, and I do think it's a classic, so maybe I'll pick that up secondhand at some point. But yeah, I just think what he did at Bottega at that time was like really, really special and really iconic. So now this next bag, this one was a toughie. I searched high and low for this bag for well over a year, and I'd seen it on a lot of influencers' Instagrams, and it was such an understated bag that I was like, who makes that bag? Like, where is this? And this was before like it was really easy to use like Google Lens and stuff to like look things up. But I just thought this bag, it kind of looked like a Birkin, but not in a way that it was like trying to be a Birkin. And it was just that gorgeous classic design. And I loved, I mean, I talked about this in the unboxing video when I got this bag, but like, I love the fact that it's structured, but it's a basket bag. I feel like so many basket bags look like you're going to the beach or you're on vacation. And I really wanted a beautiful spring summer bag that still felt very city. And I just think this is like the perfect bag. I love this bag so much. This is the Carolina Herrera Vendome bag in medium, and it was handcrafted in Spain. This is seagrass. It's so beautifully made. It definitely does, you know, lose its shape a tiny bit over time, but for being a basket bag, I don't think it's that much, and I do think that adds a little bit of character to it. The top part is acacia leather. Probably not saying that correctly, but this bag was actually released back in 2014, which is wild to me, almost 10 years ago, because I really didn't start seeing it on, well, let me rephrase that. The Vendome bag apparently started coming out in 2014. Who knows? Because they make this bag in like a leather version and stuff, which again, I'm not that big of a fan of, but love the seagrass version. I started seeing it on different like Claire Rose and everyone's Instagrams and Lydia Millens and stuff, I don't know, like 5 years ago. And it was really hard to get, to be honest. So I originally wanted it in almost like the Hermes gold sort of brown leather color. And when I went to the boutique in London last January, so like a year and a half ago, they had it only in black. And that actually got me thinking like, you know what, maybe I want this in black because again, you guys know my wardrobe. I'm a city girl. I wear a lot of black. And I thought, actually, I think the black might fit better into my wardrobe. And so I ended up buying the black. Ironically, the brown became available online like pretty shortly after that in America. But I weirdly, despite the fact Carolina Herrera is New York based, I somehow got a deal with the conversion rates and I ended in the no tax and whatnot. So I still ended up getting this, maybe because it's made in Spain, who knows, but I ended up getting this bag, I think for around $1,500 instead of 1,900 USD. So that was really nice. And yeah, I just think it's such a stunning bag. They make it in so many colors now. I think every single season they come out, or every like summer, spring season, they come out with a new color. So I saw like a really beautiful kind of white tan color that they came out with this year. Whatever the color is this year, I'll try to leave it linked below, but yeah, I'm glad that they're continuing to make this bag because I just think it's so stunning and so classic, and it's definitely one of my favorite spring summer bags for sure. The next bag is actually a little bit of a clutch, like a very skinny, like little paper clutch. But this is a bag from Jil Sander. In fact, it's the only bag from Jil Sander, even though I really do love the brand a lot. I love their clothing and I do think their bags are really beautiful. And I purchased this after my issues with my Flattered clay clutch, which we'll talk about in a second, but I did just want to call this out. So this is by Jil Sander, but it's Jil Sander Navy, which you can see like very minimally embossed on the front here. And apparently that was like a lower price line than the original kind of Jil Sander collection. And unfortunately, Raf Simons did not oversee it, which was a bummer. I kind of thought that's what I was getting when I got this bag originally, but did just want to call that out. So yeah, a little bit of a lower price point, but this is such a great travel bag as well, because obviously from a size perspective, it's completely flat, but it's such a gorgeous kind of little evening bag. And I love the really exaggerated like shape. Obviously when you put things in it, it becomes not so crazy flat and it doesn't look so silly, but it's great for packing and it's like not that heavy. So I just want to call out this beautiful simple clutch, and it's something actually you could wear during the day too if you wanted to, but yeah. So now I'm going to talk about two brands from another newer, I would say, brand that's become very popular over the years, and that is Savette. So I'm not going to go too deep into these two bags because I actually want to do a really in-depth video, kind of like I did with my Flattered Hedda bags, because I have a lot to say about these bags and good things, but yeah, I just want to go like more in depth than I'm going to be able to go in this particular video. For example, like I could talk about the brand and all of those things because I think she's doing really interesting stuff. But for now, I will just highlight kind of these two bags. They've really been sneaking into a lot of my videos recently because I've really been enjoying silver, to be honest. And that was kind of a problem, quote unquote, first world problem. In my last bag video is I kind of mentioned not really having anything that was appropriate to wear with silver. And so these bags are really filling that void for me. And I also just absolutely love the shape and the size of these for many reasons. So yeah, let me start with this one because this is actually the first Savette bag that I purchased. This is called the Savette Pochette, and this was an exclusive that they did with Essence. It's the black and silver version. You could get it on their website. It did sell out for quite some time, so I did have to buy it on Essence. It might be back on the website, but it's definitely inspired by like the Kelly Pochette in the terms of the size. It is such an incredible size. I love it so much. I still have like the stuffing in it to keep it shaped, but it is really, really like a nice weight. So it's not too heavy. So it doesn't really bother me that it doesn't have a top handle bag, but it can still fit quite a few things inside of it. It's not like that's been a lot of complaints a lot of people have said about the mini Kelly bag, is that it's just so small you can't really fit anything in it. This has like a nice depth to it so that you can. This bag also, because it is like a newer brand, it is in, again, it's all relative, but a much better price point, I would say, than a lot of the designer brands that are now going like $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 a bag. This is $1,400. So I did feel like that was much better. And again, I love the small size. I just love a smaller bag on my body. It's not so overwhelming. Maybe I'll change my mind over time, but I know that small bags aren't like in like the big bags are becoming, but I just tend to reach for the smaller bags more. So this has been a really great one. And I love the little silver bean kind of styling. It's very signature of their brand. So yeah, love that. And then this was the second Savette bag that I picked up, and this one I bought on Net-a-Porter for actually like half off, which is wild. I ended up getting this for about $950,000, which is crazy. And again, I loved the taupe color of this. I think it looks so good with navies and whites, but also black and like my little Birkenstocks. And I actually I've been wearing this bag even more than the Pochette because this is a convertible bag. So this is the Symmetry 19. So it's 19 centimeters across, I believe is what that means. And I love that it can be like a little Pochette and then it has the top handle, or you can actually adjust this bag on the inside, you can see, and it can become a crossbody. So again, versatility. Like this bag has such incredible versatility. In fact, it's also larger than the Pochette. It's like, I think like the Pochette is longer and skinnier, and this one's a little bit like fatter, if that makes sense. And so yeah, it's such an incredible bag. And I love, 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 love the fact that you can turn it into like a little top handle for nighttime and then make it into a crossbody for daytime. So these are definitely going to be coming with me on my fall travels when I go to Paris. But yeah, just wanted to call out, I'm absolutely loving this brand. And again, it's like the fashion community would totally know this brand and know what this is, but hopefully the criminals that are out and about, it's not like you're walking around with a Birkin that someone's going to try to steal. So I do think these are also like safer options that are less kind of like branded and in your face. So hopefully I'll still be a-okay and super safe wearing these around Europe. But yeah, definitely just kind of going for more understated stuff for sure. Okay, we're almost there. The final stretch. Oh, I mean, I might have saved the best for last, even though this isn't last. But you all know, if you've been watching my channel for a little while, I have such a love and obsession with the brand Flattered from Stockholm. I just think they're doing such incredible, gorgeous, minimal designs like all the great Swedes do. And they have this particular bag that I have purchased now in 4 different colors and 3 different sizes. So this is hands down my most worn bag of my entire collection, and it's actually one of the least expensive too. So I won't, again, get too deep into it because I've done an entire video kind of talking about this bag. But first of all, I want to introduce my newest color of this bag. So baby story time. So back over the summer, I actually ended up getting, oh yeah, first of all, let's just get this all out of the way. So this is the Flattered Herrera bag. This is what this bag is called, and it comes in 3 different sizes that I have all here for you. So this is the mini bag. This is the smallest bag. And it's super cute and really teeny. This is the very first one that I got. Then they have the midi bag, which is more of a mid-sized bag. In fact, I think it's 25 centimeters across, so it's more like an Hermes 25 Kelly bag. And then they have the grande, which is 32 centimeters across, so it's more like a Kelly 32 if you're looking for size comparisons here. So yeah, Big Daddy, midi, and then the small one. And I purchased this first one, honestly, kind of on a whim because I originally was actually looking to buy this bag on Flattered. This is the clay clutch bag in calf leather. It's around $300. It's really stunning. I'm not gonna lie. I love like a casual clutch that can go day to night. The issue that I have with this bag, which hopefully I just got like a random one and this isn't the case because I've never had a problem with their headed bags, but I talked about this in another video, so I'm not going to harp too much on it, but the thing completely broke on me. Basically, the sides totally broke off, so now the like metal parts can't like stay in the bag. So I basically never wear this bag anymore because it broke, but I just want to call it out because it's really beautiful and I love it, and I'm probably going to try to take it to a store in New York to get it fixed, but yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer that that happened. So this is originally what brought me to Flattered as a brand. And when I was purchasing this bag, I was like, I really like this bag. Let me buy this one too while I'm at it. And so thank God I did, because that's when the love affair started. And again, so you'll see the pattern here. I love that this has a top handle and it also has a crossbody, which, like, I'm not gonna lie, at first I thought it was a little weird looking that they just like tuck the crossbody into the bag, and that's kind of part of the design of the bag, but now I am just here for it. I love it. I don't think it's weird at all. And I absolutely love the size of this mini bag. It's not heavy at all. I love carrying it just like a little crossbody bag. And then if I'm on the subway or stuff, I'll just put it on. Like, yeah, I just love it so much. And so this is just the normal kind of black leather. The leather is really heavy duty. The other thing that I love about this bag is, again, there's no really hardware. And I think that's why I also grabbed for this bag so much, because if I'm wearing it with like silver, it looks good. If I'm wearing it with gold, it looks good. It's just like extremely versatile. So I love this bag. The second bag that I purchased of this, I wanted like a summer version. So I bought it in this gorgeous suede. It's like a sand color. And this is such an incredible bag. Again, when I don't want to wear black, say I want to wear it with like navies or browns or anything like that. And then I actually ended up purchasing this bag in a third color, in like a taupe color. And I was a little worried about it when I ordered it on the site because I knew that the taupe looked a little purpley to me. It looked a little too cool for me, and I wanted it to be not as warm as this color, but just warmer. And sure enough, when I got it, it was just not the right taupe color. So I ended up sending it back. So in terms of the mini colors, even though honestly, if they came out with the mini in this burgundy color, I would buy it in a second. So please do that, or maybe don't, I don't know. But yes, love, love, love the mini. Then came along the grande. So this is kind of their version of the Hedda, but in like a work bag. And I really wanted to play around with, again, having like a larger bag. And I just knew that I loved the Hedda so much. When they came out with the big one, I was like, let me try it. Maybe I'll like it. I brought it with me on my trip to Stockholm, and it was so incredible for that trip because it was a work trip and I needed to bring my like iPad and my camera and like a bunch of stuff with me. However, in the city, I don't wear it as much just because, again, I think a bigger bag like this kind of overwhelms my frame a little bit. And so while I still really love it, it's not like my favorite of all bags. But yeah, if you love a bigger bag and you like how that suits your body, then this is a really, really great option. And it's just like so well made. It's so stunning. And again, I kind of love actually having a large bag with a big top handle like this too. But this also taught me, though, that I actually don't think I want the Hermes 32 Kelly. Like, for a while, I was dabbling with getting like a 35 or a 32, but this bag made me realize, like, I think even that's a bit too big for me. So then When I was shooting the in-depth video about Flattered and the head bag and whatnot, I saw this burgundy one and I was like, that's a good looking bag. So they actually come, this larger bag comes in a black and a brown, like a dark chocolate brown. And then they make the chocolate brown in all of the sizes. And so there is that option, but I just love a burgundy. Like, look how great this looks with all my burgundy stuff, like my new t-shirt from COS. I'm just so on the burgundy train. Burgundy and like forest green. I'm not really a color person, but like these colors I love. And I'm already so obsessed with this bag. I can tell. I just like, for a hot second, I thought again it was going to be a little too big and I wouldn't want to wear it as much as my mini one, but it's fantastic. I love it. It's just like so chic looking and I love the color and I love how the inside is kind of a tan color, which makes it look really nice and expensive. I really love how, so the bag is giving me like a little bit of puzzle bag vibes from Loewe, but I also love that it's not like that on the nose and it's just like very minimally inspired by that, I think, potentially. But I love that it's not like trying to be any other kind of designer brand. It's just like a good looking bag. So yeah, I have a love affair with this bag. This bag, when people think Mary Lynn or Mary style, I want them to think about this bag and be like, that was her bag. Because that's how I feel about this bag. I'm like, you are my bag and we are one in terms of style. So yeah, I just love this bag. Just want to kind of just give it a moment here because it's the best. So yeah, kudos to Flattered for taking all my money because they're great. But again, they are like, I think, very well priced. This one is around $3.95. The large one is obviously the most expensive just because it's made out of the most leather. It was around $4.50, I think. But again, for an all leather, really beautifully handcrafted bag that I grab for all the time, I just think out of everything here, this is like my absolute favorite. I love it so, so, so much. Okay. We're not quite done yet. Now, I don't have just all designer bags. I do have some non-designer bags, even Flattered. They're a designer, they're a mid-tier designer bag, I would say. So I do have like lower price point bags that I want to touch on. Again, I've done a whole other video about my favorite like non-designer handbags. But I do want to touch on them here because it's not like I just only wear designer bags all the time. So first I'm going to talk about this bag, which sadly is discontinued, but it's still a fave of mine. This is from a brand called ITALIC that, to be perfectly honest, I haven't bought anything from in a really long time. But they're still a great brand. I actually still love their workout clothes. I still wear them. I just wore one this morning when I went to bar class. But this was such an incredible classic, just like bucket bag. I believe it was like $100 when I bought it. And I still love it to this day when I'm just running errands and I just want to look a little bit more chic and just have kind of a big, like one day maybe I'll get the I believe it's called the Park tote bag. But for now, I really love this bag and I wish they would bring it back. I will say I always recommend one that's so similar from Madewell. And they actually just, I think, came out with like a burgundy color, which some of you guys might be really into. So there are similar versions to this if you're looking for more like an affordable kind of bucket bag. But I just don't think you can really go wrong with a nice bucket bag. And I love how skinny this one is. It really like skims the body. And yeah, it's just like a very nice, simple bag is all I have to say. But unfortunately, you can't get it anymore. So I'm not going to go too deep into something that you cannot get. Now, this next bag is kind of like almost like a little pouch. And I liked it because of how minimal it was and is. And this is from COS. This is, again, I don't think they make it. I think it's sold out. But I got it over in the spring, maybe. It's definitely inspired by the Loewe flamenco bag, and which I'm pretty sure I called the flamingo bag in that video, so sorry for that. But I think it's called the flamenco bag, and they've been coming out with a lot of versions of that as well this year. But I like that this one, again, isn't like too like it because it's more like a phone pouch. So it's very minimal. I've been loving this in the summertime, like when I was in Vermont or upstate New York, and I just wanted to look really casual and honestly just have a place to throw my phone and my keys and my wallet when I'm going to dinner or something. So this was a really easy option. It's real leather. I kind of love the cord. Again, it's more like boho than like most things that I have in my closet, and I just like how little it was for just casual nights out and stuff. So yeah, that's the little COS. And this was actually my first bag from COS. And like everything with COS, I thought it was really great quality and just really nice, chic, kind of minimal design. Now, the final two bags are one of my favorites and one of my least favorite bags that I have, crazily enough. And the crazy thing is they're the same bag. And so this is the super famous UNIQLO round bag that was inspired by the Row bag. I just want to say that here. And it's nylon, which I love that nylon's becoming a big thing now. Again, the COS has like a bunch of really cool kind of crossbody nylon bags. UNIQLO's also coming out with a bunch of cool like nylon, like bigger kind of crossbody bags. But this one, I just wanted a casual bag for when I'm going to the grocery store or I'm hiking, or, you know, I just need a bag to put my keys, my phone, my card, and be on my way and still look chic. And this is the perfect bag for that. So I bought this bag for my sister. I bought this bag for my mom. It's such an incredible bag. It would be such a great bag for any like teenager who wants to look cool, but, you know, doesn't have the budget. Like, yeah, I just can't say enough great stuff about this bag, but everyone and their mother loves this bag. So I was like, I love this bag so much. Let me buy this bag in another color. I hate this bag. I mean, that's like a strong thing to say, but I almost want to, I'm probably going to end up giving this away because the color doesn't do it for me. I thought I would like the corduroy. I don't like the corduroy. I love the casualness of the nylon. I don't know why I hate this bag so much, but it just looks completely different than the other bag. I think it just looks kind of like cheap and sad. And yeah, this bag is going to go. I almost wish I would have just bought the nylon bag in like that light tan color or even like a wine color. Maybe I still will, but I just feel like they translated it into this particular fabric and color, and I just don't like it as much. So yeah, not a hit every time, but yes. And I feel like I'm ending on a negative note, which I don't want to do. So I'm going to actually try to end on a positive note and talk about any future bags that I have in mind for my collection. And honestly, I don't really have any. So I feel so blessed and satisfied and like happy with my collection that at this point in time, I really feel like I've plugged all of the holes where I felt like I might not have things, whether that be, you know, casual, whether it be the right size, the right hardware. I just feel like I have all of that now, and it would just be like adding stuff that I don't need, basically, if I kept like adding bags, and that's really not what I want. I also live in New York City, so but the fact that I can even store all of these bags is kind of a miracle. I mean, I really finagle my closet in many different ways to be able to still see the bags and store them properly so they're not getting, you know, damaged or anything. So I honestly just don't really have the space either for any more bags. So that's another reason. But for the sake of dreaming or thinking, I mean, obviously I'm sure new bags will come along that I'll find interesting, but I think a really fun bag, like one that has stood out to me recently, I do love, again, I don't have any Loewe bags, but I really love the Loewe bags. I love the flamenco bag. I think that's a gorgeous bag, especially in the smaller sizes, because you can wear it as like a clutch or you can wear it across the body. I love the pebble bag. I think that's a great version of like a bucket bag, maybe in like a brown color. And then there's this bag from Kate recently that's just very like fun. It's so impractical. It's very like old world. It kind of reminds me of the old Celine kind of clasp bag, but it has this gorgeous fur top that is, hopefully you can remove it, but comes in black. They also brought it out in burgundy. I think that's like a really, really beautiful bag. So maybe a bag from Kate in the future, but honestly, really not interested in building out my bag collection at this point in time. And I just really want to like enjoy and wear and love the bags that I do have. So I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, let me know your favorite bag that you have in your collection. I'm just so curious, like the brands and bags that people are drawn to. If there's one that just like fits into your lifestyle so well, I would just love to hear about it, because everyone's different and everyone, you know, that's what's fun about it, is like seeing people's different collections and what people are drawn to and what they like. So let me know in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.